Hello, I'm Dr. Benita Rattan, a medically qualified doctor and a cosmetic formulator specifically for skin of color. And today we are deep diving into the popular topic of exfoliating acids, AHAs versus BHAs. While acids can give you a glowing, smooth, glass-like finish, they need to be used carefully, especially for those with skin of color, because it can lead to more hyperpigmentation if we burn our skin. As you always hear me say, one scratch, one bite, or one burn, and we hyperpigment. This does not happen to Caucasian skin, and this is why this channel exists, so we know what's best for our skin. Having said this, the epidermis for skin of color is more compact, and this is one of the reasons why our skin looks drier and duller quicker. So actually exfoliating once a week is very important for us. What it does mean is that we get the right actives then penetrating into our skin and we get more of a glow and bouncy skin. Today we're going to break down what are the different acid types, how do they work, what to pair them with, the common mistakes made, and the rules our skin of color family needs to follow to stay safe and get the best results. So first of all, what are AHAs versus BHAs? AHAs, or alpha hydroxy acids, are water-soluble acids. They exfoliate the surface of the skin, helping to remove dead skin cells, improving texture and boosting radiance. The most common AHAs include glycolic acid, which is the smallest molecular weight, lactic acid, which is the most hydrating, and mandelic acid, which has a giant molecular weight that just cannot burn skin of color, and this is why it's my favorite. AHA molecules work by breaking the bonds between dead skin cells, allowing them to shed easily. I tend to recommend this only 1 to 2 nights a week maximum, depending on how sensitive your skin is. For me, I'm now in my 40s and my skin is slightly more sensitive. I would maximum do this once a week or even once every other week. So really listen to your skin. More is definitely not better when it comes to skincare. So what you'll notice is you'll see an immediate brightening on that day. But for improvement in texture, it can take up to 8 weeks or even longer. The other beauty of AHAs is that you can use them on your body as well. And this is what I did with our body smoothing exfoliator. In here, I actually put our lactic acid, which is your AHA, plus salicylic acid. So that's your BHA. So then what we do is basically resurface the top layer of skin and the BHA gets into the pore to unclog it. And this is how you can combine the two for your body. So if you see the word salicylic acid anywhere, you tend to find them more on acne products because they are oil soluble versus your AHAs, which are water soluble. And why this is important is because salicylic acid can penetrate into that fatty pore. Don't forget, the way a pore works is that the sebum pumps into the pore, the sebum comes up and then goes out onto the top layer of skin, and that's what gives you your oily, waxy surface. And if there's any problem with this, if there's any blockage of the pore, this is what then leads to acne. And this is why we tend to use salicylic acid in order to unclog that pore and to help the process of sebum coming from the sebaceous gland up the pore and to the skin nicely. That's a very important thing to happen because if that's not happening, you then get eczema. Eczema is the other side of this. You don't have enough fats on the skin. You don't have that protective waxy sebum layer. And now the skin starts to break apart quickly. Any sort of irritation, you scratch, and then infection can make its way in. So really getting the perfect sebum production line happening is very important. But when we go through puberty, for example, or you're acne prone, what tends to happen is you tend to get sticky skin cells at the top. So that's called hyperkeratinization. And they tend to then create like a plug, you know, like a plug on a sink. It causes a plug on the top of the pore. And now the oil is stuck. They're still producing oil, you're still producing oil, and what's happening is it's expanding more and more and more, and you get that bump under the skin and it's very painful. Those are what pimples are. And so this is why you see salicylic acid at 2%, that's in the therapeutic index, to get into the pore to unclog it. However, you don't really get much resurfacing of the top layer of skin. It's more about unclogging the pore. So they work, AHAs and BHAs work very differently. The other big difference is how often you can use them both. BHAs I'm happy for you to use twice a day. So here are the acids that I made for skin of color. Here you've got your 2% BHA, your salicylic acid, and here you've got mandelic plus lactic acid. For this, I'm happy for you to use it twice a day for the acne. It doesn't irritate the skin and there's no resurfacing of the skin. So that's how it looks, it sprays out. So the way it works is after you've washed your face, you spray this onto the skin. Then you apply your moisturizer and your sunscreen. You carry on with the rest of your day. In the evening, when you come back, you wash your face, make sure you wash it properly, double cleanse, and then you go back in with your exfoliator, and then you can apply any serums that you want, such as benzoyl peroxide to kill P. acnes bacteria, any tyrosinase inhibitors to help with any hyperpigmentation, and then you apply your moisturizer. So I'm more than happy for you to wear your salicylic acid twice a day. The thing to note about salicylic acid is that it's drying. So actually make sure that whatever moisturizer you're picking, not only is it not non-comedogenic, you want to make sure you're getting enough hydration on the rest of the skin, because once you start getting dry acne-prone skin, you now have two skincare problems to fix. Compared to your AHAs only do it 1 to 2 nights a week, unless you have skin like me and it's very sensitive, in which case you only do it once a week, maximum once every other week. And you know what? It's something I save and I look forward to, because if I'm, for example, have a day of filming, or I have a day that I'm on stage, or I have a day I'm going out, this is what I do to ensure I get smooth makeup application. And honestly, if I had to pick something from the entire line for making sure you get perfect makeup application, it would be this once a week, and then it would be your CeraPep brightening moisturizer. That touch wood, I think we've had hundreds of makeup artists use our CeraPep brightening moisturizer. We just get great results with it for skin of color specifically, because our skin dries out quickly, and unfortunately, a lot of the makeup we use contains denatured alcohol in it to get that quick dry feel. But where's that water coming from? It usually comes from your moisturizer. And if you have a light gel moisturizer, or a moisturizer that wasn't really formulated for our drier skin, it can lead to problems. Your skin starts to crack quite quickly with the makeup. So the makeup starts to crack and separate, and it's just not a good look 6 hours later. So let me show you what this looks like. I love this. So look at it, it's got glycerin, centella asiatica. It is anti-inflammatory. It's just like a gel on the skin. There's just no irritation with it. Leave it on for 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes if you can, and then rinse it off, and your face will glow and be so smooth that anything you put on top, you'll be shocked. If you tried Exfoliate to Glow, can you write down in the comments how you feel and how often you use it? So a common question I get asked about acids all the time is, Dr. V, can acids thin your skin? And actually it's the exact opposite. What you're doing is you're removing the dead layer of Horn cells, that's the surface layer of skins. This then signals to the basal cells of the epidermis to produce more delicious new cells, which means that the living epidermis thickens over time. It does take a little bit of time though, so that's important to know. So at least a couple of cell cycles for that to start to happen. That's why we say you get the immediate brightening effect, but if you want improvement in texture, you're looking for those good 8 weeks. So the next question I get asked is, Dr. V, can I use AHA and BHA with my retinol? I would say use them separately. BHAs can be used in the morning with your sunscreen, while retinol is best to use at night. With AHAs though, on the night that you're using your AHA, avoid your retinol on that night. So that's how I would do it throughout the week, because you're only going to be exfoliating 1 night a week. So the other 5 or 6 nights a week, apply your retinol. This is why I tell you, when you're applying your Exfoliate to Glow, on those nights you wash it off, apply your CeraPep and carry on. If you're applying your retinol serum, so that's our antioxidant power serum with 0.1% retinol, 0.1% retinaldehyde, plus vitamin C, coenzyme Q10, you apply this one on the other nights. So you never apply these on the same night. You tend to apply this once a week, this 5 or 6 nights a week. The next common question is, do I need sunscreen after using acids the night before? The answer is yes. Acids make your skin more sensitive to UV light. A very interesting journal shows that sun exposure after acid can worsen hyperpigmentation. And this is why I tell you to opt for your mineral SPF 50. So my favorite acids over the counter for AHAs would be 10% mandelic acid from The Ordinary, 5% Wish Trend mandelic acid if you have more sensitive skin. Paula's Choice 6% mandelic plus 2% salicylic acid is very interesting. It's a very similar thing that I've done with our body exfoliator, because what we've both done is combined the AHA plus the BHA, but also my favorite AHAs as well. So that's actually good for acne plus hyperpigmentation. When it comes to your BHA, so your salicylic acid, I like the 2% salicylic acid from Paula's Choice. So this is the OG. Paula is the one that really figured out 2% leave-on exfoliant, and everyone just sort of mimicked her or did their own iteration. The Ordinary has done another good 2%, and so has Be Minimalist. A lot of people have tried to copy 2% salicylic acid and actually done a very bad job of it. So those those have been my 3 that I actually really like on the market. Now, my least favorite AHA, can you guess? Yes, it is glycolic acid. Just because of the small molecular weight, it can lead to hot spots on the skin. So I actually did a video on this to show how you shouldn't be using this under the armpit. I know this was meant to be brightening the skin under the armpit, and it was a whole hack, but actually it can lead to chemical burns for us. So for us, I tell you to be safe. It is better to do no harm than to try something, burn your face, and then you're stuck with that. Really could take years to get rid of. And for me, that's just the cost benefit analysis does not add up for my Skin of Color family. So stick with your lactic acid and your mandelic acid rather than this. This was made really more for Caucasian skin, not really for us. So unless you want to put this on your feet, I'm okay for you to put it on your feet, your elbows, maybe your knees, thick areas, but we just have better options. So starting off with your AM/PM routine, if you have oily, acne-prone skin. Start off with your cleanser. You want a gentle, non-exfoliating cleanser. You can use your benzoyl peroxide wash, such as Acnicide, which I love, or you can use your salicylic acid wash. For example, our Trio Blemish. Trio Blemish contains your salicylic acid plus your niacinamide, so it helps to control sebum production too. That's why it works really well with the salicylic acid exfoliator afterwards. Just ensure whichever cleanser you use, it's fragrance-free. Then you want to moisturize. Hydrate your skin to protect your barrier and always go for a non-comedogenic moisturizer. So I actually made a couple for you. Your AM gel has actually got in here, I've put in your niacinamide to control sebum production, your vitamin C, azelaic acid, green tea extract, peptides, ceramides, anti-inflammatories, and of course your humectants. And it comes out very light and gel-like. So this is great, for example, if you have very, very oily skin and within an hour, if your skin is feeling oily after you wash your face, this is the best moisturizer for you. It's a gel-based moisturizer made for Skin of Color. It also gives you that glow because of the vitamin C. On the other hand, if you have dry acne-prone skin, you actually need to go more in with an emulsion. So you need a non-comedogenic moisturizer that contains fat in it because you've lost fats. That's the reason why the skin is so dry. And so this is what this moisturizer looks like. So it comes out quite thick, and it's not for everybody. It's if you have dry acne-prone skin. That tends to happen if you've overdone it on the salicylic acid. Don't forget your minimal SPF 50, because what you want to do is to make sure any hyperpigmentation on your skin isn't getting worse in the sun. And so that means really protecting the skin. You might not use this one, just make sure you find one that you love and that is non-comedogenic. The nighttime routine, it's your cleanser, followed by your salicylic acid exfoliator, followed by any serums that you might want to use, for example, Acnicide with benzoyl peroxide in it. Then you top up with your moisturizer. One thing I'd say is if you are getting hyperpigmentation from acne, use a moisturizer with tyrosinase inhibitors in it. So I created you a gel moisturizer with tyrosinase inhibitors. And in here, I've put in niacinamide, vitamin C, retinaldehyde, retinol, so it helps also with the sticky skin cells. Plus I put salicylic acid, alpha-arbutin to help with pigmentation, phytic acid also helps with pigmentation, octadecanoic acid, and ceramides. So I'll just show you what it looks like. So again, it comes out very gel-like, and it's if you have very oily skin, this is something you might want. Don't forget to apply your skincare 2 hours before bed so you get the best results, and so it doesn't just come off on the sheets. Now, I know it gets really confusing, but if you're using an AHA acid, the order of skincare would then be your double cleanse, so your oil cleanser followed by your micellar gel wash, your hydrating toner, you don't need to use these, it's just the ones that I've made, your exfoliate to glow, so this would be your once a week. On the nights you're not using this, you would then use your vitamin A serum, so that's your antioxidant power serum, and you'd seal it in with your moisturizer. And I literally lay this out in front of me on my sink, and I just go through them one by one. And I just know I've got all the actives I need without any irritation, and I'm getting the best results I could possibly get for my skin. It's really exciting. We finally have our own YouTube shop, and links for everything is down below. We've also just started our subscription model, plus we're getting free shipping for your minimum order spend. So I hope you find that helpful, and if you've got any questions, please write them down below. See you next time. Bye.